Hi all, good morning. Hope you all are doing well. Welcome to my channel. So today we are going to learn how to use the copy data tool in ADF instance. So let's get started. So there, let me give you a scenario. There we have a file and I wanted to move that file from one location to another location using the ADF instance. That means I need to create a pipeline or I need to use the copy activity in the pipeline to copy the data from one location to another location. Okay, so let's understand the prerequisites of this demo. So there is, I'll show you one location. So this is my file, input data CSV. This is a comma separated file. I wanted to move this file, copy this file from one location to another location. Prerequisite says that to perform this activity, we should have a kind of a storage account in our Azure portal. So what is a storage account? Storage account is nothing but a kind of a account storage services in Azure world, in cloud world, where you can store very big data, around 500 TB of data in the cloud, and you can move your you can store your data, and whenever required you can move the data from one location to another location. So when we talk about the storage accounts, we are having the two types of the storage accounts. One is blob storage and another is second one is ADLS Gen 2. Earlier it was ADLS Gen 1, but now it is obsolete by the Microsoft, and we are having two type of storage accounts, blob storage and ADLS Gen 2. So I'll create another video where I will demonstrate. I'll show you the differences between these two accounts. But right now, what we need to do, we need to understand the copy data tool in ADF instance. For that, we we need a storage account. So we are stick with a blob storage kind of the storage account, and we are going to create it. So prerequisite says that first, to remove the data from one location to another location, we must have that location, we must have the storage account. So the very first need is we need to create a storage account, and in that we will create an input location and output location. Location as in it's a folder, input location folder or output folder. Input folder or is the location where our file resides, and output is where we wanted to move our file to using the copy data tool. Okay, and how where we can find the copy data tool inside the ADF instance which we are going to create. So basically we need two services to be created for this demonstration. First is storage account service, second is ADF instance service. So let's get started. I'm here in the portal. If you see here, Azure portal. Okay, the very first is we need to create a storage. So let me quickly find the storage accounts, search for the storage account, and there is a button. I already have a storage account here. Let me create one more for the demonstration purpose. Okay, here if you see, just whatever subscription you have taken, you have to select that. Resource group, it is already created for me, so it is automatically come up here. Otherwise you can create a new resource group as well. So here if you see the resource group which is I already created, so let me create a new resource group, and I will put my this storage account into this resource group. Okay, so let me resource group rg01. So see here, this is new bracket. It is showing that this resource group will be created on fly when you are creating a storage account at the same time. So that's why it is showing it as a new. So this is a RG01 is a new resource group. So if you go scroll down, and here you have to actually provide your storage account name. So what we can do, storage blob, Azure storage blob, Azure blob storage. Let me give a unique name. So this is my storage account. I am taking the region as a East US. This is fine. Performance is standard. Add redundancy to make the cost low. I'll choose the local redundancy storage. Go to the advanced, keep everything same. No need to change anything in the advanced networking and data protections and in the encryption. So whatever we have to do in the basics, where you have to provide your resource group. you have to choose your resource group, and if it is not creating, you have to create it, and then you have to provide the ADF instance and your geo redundancy settings. Here the validation is passed. Validation is basically nothing but it just check all the required options is been selected, or the required text box has been filled or not, and we have to now click on create. So if you see here in the notification, it is saying that initializing deployment. So that means it is first of all, if you see RG01, so it is going to deploy the template for the resource group 01. Then it is going to deploy your storage account. Okay, see here deployment is in progress. If you see, if you see here the store deployment name, this is your unique identity number for your storage account here, and this is my subscription, this is resource group, this storage account belongs to this resource group, okay, RG01. And if you see whatever the component is required to deploy, everything will be listed down here one by one. Okay, slowly. So here we can do one thing to save time. What we can do, let this deployment be done, let's create second prerequisite is that we have to create a ADF instance. Okay, so let's go to our portal again, and okay, it's done. Even if you see the deployment is complete, if you want to go to resource, you can click on the resource, and here you can your storage account blob is your storage account is open. This is the layout of the storage account. If you see here, every detail, single details is available here. The application, see LRS we have selected. The storage account is gen 2, the general purpose v2. Okay, performance is whatever the settings we have selected is displayed here. Okay, and all those properties, if you see disable this one hierarchical namespace disable, that means this settings will make sure that this storage account which you have created is the blob storage, it is not the ADLS gen 2. This setting hierarchical namespace is disabled. If this hierarchical namespace is enabled, that means it is a ADLS gen 2 location. Now we have to create a two folders. If you see in my notepad, we have to create a two folder, input and output. So what we can do, let me here, so if you see, this is data storage. This is nothing containers, file share, four types of data storage we can store in the storage account. File share, queue, table, and container. So this is basically in the container. When we say container is nothing but a file folder in our system. Like suppose if I open my system here, this PC. So if you see, these are the folders. Okay, in window D, if you see, these are the folders. So these folders is same as a container in Azure Blob Storage. So we have to click on the containers, and we have to create a new container. So just click on here and put input. So let me put input folder here. Okay, so this is the name of your, and it's saying the it would be in the small lowercase letter. So here if you have to put input folder. Okay, here we have an advanced. If you want to do this, let's do not do like right now. Let's create it. So what will happen, the new storage container will create it. Okay, so let me create one more container or one more folder. So let me give this output folder. Okay, so what is our main agenda is we have to move the file from input folder to output folder. Now for moving the file, we should have a file in the input folder. For that, click on the input folder, go to this location, and if you see here, you have the upload option. So what you need to do, you have to upload your file which you are going to move. So first you have to upload, click on upload, just select your file where your file is present inside CSV folder. This is my file. Okay, so let me select it and click on upload. So if you see, your file is uploaded here. If you want to see, just click on it and your file will be displayed here. Here these are the properties of the files. If you wanted to see the content inside the file, click on the add it, and here you will see the file also. And if you wanted to add it the content in the file, from here also you can add it the content and click on save. Okay, so let me cancel it. So what has happened, we have created two folders in my blob storage input and output folder. In input folder, I already uploaded the file. Now I wanted to move that file to output folder in the same storage account using the copy data tool in ADF instance. Now the second prerequisite is that we have to create a ADF instance. I have already one ADF instance, but let me create another ADF instance so that you will get an idea. So here, if you see the data factory, just search for the data factory, click on data factory. Okay, see, I show you I already have a data factory here. Let me create another data factory for you. Going forward, I will use that same ADF factory. Okay, not create a ADF instance for every session to save our time, but this is a new this is a very first demonstration, right? So that's why I just wanted to show you each and every single step so that your basic will be strong, and then you will use the same ADF instances and storage account to move your files to work on top of that. Okay, so here I'll give you Azure data factory tutorial, let's say. I will keep the region as East US. Okay, this name is already taken. Let me see if it is available. This is all. If this is available, okay, this is available. Let's keep the region East US. Okay, version is fine. Go to the Git configuration. I don't want to configure the Git as of now. Git configuration is required to automate your CI/CD pipelines, to automate your deployment from lower environment to higher environment. For that, we enable the configure the Git with our Azure instance, ADF, not Azure, ADF instance. Okay, so I don't want to get into that. I will create a separate session, and that will be in your advance, because uh, so uh, so this is right now. If you have to give your DevOps account, you have to give the project name, repo name. So this is the basic. It's not a basic topic. It's kind of advanced. So let it. Uh, leave that. Okay, go to this advanced. No need to change anything in the networking, in advanced, in text, nothing else. We have to give only the information in the basic, and we have to disable the git configuration. That's all we need to do to create our ADF instance. Okay, validation has been passed. Now we have to click on create to initialize the deployment for the ADF instance. If you see here, as I told you earlier, whenever you create a new service in the Azure portal, in notification you will get the progress of that deployment. So deployment is in progress. If you see all the details, you can just wait for it will take a couple of seconds, then it will be ready for you. See, it's done. Now you can go to the resource. Okay, and before that, let me go to the home folder and I'll show you the resource group. So this is RG01 which I have created. Okay, if you go to this RG01, you see the two services, new services I have just created. First is Azure Blob Storage, okay, which is nothing but a of type storage account, and I have created another service ADF which is of type Data Factory. Okay, so now let's start with, now open the Azure Data Factory and let's discuss copy data tool. So if I click on it, and there is a studio. Studio is nothing but, we can say, a UI from where we can create our pipelines to orchestrate the data movement from one source to another with a very limited coding. There is no such coding in the area. Okay, so whatever the coding we have in expressions and in ADF, so that I will discuss later on. So let me open the studio to open the development tool for us to create a pipeline. And in this session, we are actually not creating a pipeline, but we are using that copy data tool. This is the tool which is, see, this is the very first screen on your screen. This is nothing but a tool. Okay, ingest. Using this data tool, you can ingest, orchestrate, transform, and transform your data. Configure SSIS is different part. So using that, what you can do, so if you wanted to create a pipeline, you have to go to the author tab. As last time I have given the overview of the this ADF instance. So if you see here, the pipe, if you wanted to create a pipeline, you can create a pipeline. Okay, new pipeline. But my agenda is to show the copy data tool. So go to the home here, and this is the copy data tool. If you click on ingest, see, this is the copy data tool. Use the copy data tool to perform one time or scheduled data load for 90 plus data resources, data sources. So I'm using, I wanted to use the built-in copy class, and I wanted to run it once just to show you. So I'll keep this option selected, click on next, and here you have to provide your source type. So my type is source is I wanted to move data from Azure Blob Storage. This is my source. You have to provide the connection. So whenever we have to so you have to provide the connections. For that, what you need to do, you have to click on the new connection here. Here we have to provide a new connection. New connection means how we have to give the settings to connect to the blob storage to access that file which we are going to move to our destination. Okay, so let me give a new connection to blob storage. So let us give a name as a blob storage underscore connection. This would be my name for the connection. Okay, this is description. It is connecting with the auto resolve integration runtime. So integration runtime, it's by default has been created when you create a Azure integration, sorry, ADF instance. Okay, you can create your own integration runtime as well, but by default it is there. So it will select the auto resolve integration runtime. So authentication type is account key. If you see here, there is an option of account. We can keep our keys, password and all in the Azure Key Vault as well. Azure Key Vault is another portal services, Azure portal service. I will create another separate session for the Azure Key Vault. What is Azure Key Vault? How we can secure our username and password in the Key Vault services, and we can use it for the authentication purpose. So let's keep it simple, and we will keep the authentication using the account key. Okay. And if you see what is the Azure subscription, just select your Azure subscription and to which account you wanted to create, you wanted to connect with. I wanted to connect with this one, Azure Blob Storage account, which we have created. Okay, so if you have noticed here, when I select, it is saying loading key. Okay, if you just see one more time, loading key. So it is nothing, it is just loading this account key to authenticate your Azure Blob Storage account. So I wanted to connect with the link service. So okay, when before just click on the test connection to see the success connection is successful. You have to now create this new connection. Okay, so we are using the copy data tool. So see here, this our source has been set up. Now we have to the connection to the source has been set up. Now I need to select the data set. Okay, here if you see which folder you wanted to access to, or which folder, which file you wanted to use to copy the data from. Okay, so this is my data set. Okay, this is my files or folder which I wanted to use. Okay, and if you go here, maximum, these are the all settings, maximum concurrent connections and all. So you just leave everything as it is for now. Okay, click on next. So main part is you have to create the source connection, and you have to select your choose your data set. Data set is in what actually the table or the file which you wanted to move data, like that. So here, if you have a file, then it will ask the file format settings. So if you wanted to change the settings, delimited, or wanted to change the file format, that you can do it. You can choose it from here. But here I will keep everything the same. Column delimiter is the comma, which is fine. First row is a header, yes, true. In my file, first row is a header, so this is fine. Next, click on uh, next, click on this next button. Now see here, source, connection and target and the file configurations, everything is set up. Now the second is destination. Now it is asking for the which where you wanted to push your data from this file. So I wanted to use the same data, Azure Blob Storage, and it is asking me the connection. So I need to create, I can use the same connection because this will connect to my blob storage, or I can because in this demo Azure Blob Storage is the only storage. So let me select the same connection. If it is some other storage like ADLS Gen 2, if you wanted to move the file from blob storage to ADLS Gen 2, then I had to create a new connection to connect to ADLS Gen 2. But for in this demo, the files is going to move from the input folder to output folder inside the blob storage. So I can use the same connection. Okay, here if you wanted to move, give the name of the file, that you can find. And here you have to browse the folder. So here I wanted to push my file to output folder. Okay, if you see copy behavior, there is we have these many options for the copy behavior. I will create a separate session to show what are the copy behavior we can choose. For now I can choose none. Okay, and here if you select it, now this is the file format. If you wanted to pull the data CSV file and you wanted to dump into some other file format, then you can change it. Okay, you can connect it to, I mean, source file is comma separated and you wanted to push load the data into destination in the format semicolon, then you can choose this as well. I'll keep it a sample for now and click on next. And this is, see, this is nothing but a task name is a pipeline name. So let me give a, this is auto generated name which is provided by the copy data tool. Okay, let me give a very good name like copy employee data using copy data tool. Okay, so this is my task name, or this is a kind of a pipeline name we can say. Okay, and if you wanted to do the enable logging and all those, and you wanted to use the staging, all these steps are there. Okay, I will logging as in, if you want, if anything you wanted to keep track of everything what has happened, then you can use the enable logging. If you wanted to staging is nothing but an intermediate location where you wanted to move your file before loading it to the final destination. Okay, if you enable the staging, then you have to provide the location where you wanted to move the file to in the staging, and then only it will move to the destination. So it's a kind of a intermediate location. Okay, and fault tolerance, these are the options. Fault tolerance is exactly when if you find any issues in your file, source file, so what you are going to do. So you wanted to keep incompatible rows, you wanted to skip missing files, so these are the options to to deal with the fault in the source file. So these are the options. So let me, I know that this is file is very small and there is no fault, there is no issues in that, so I'm not checking it. But in a practical scenario, we would have so much big data in the files we have, we could have faults in our source files, so we have to choose this options. Okay, so we don't want the entire copying of the data will be failed. We wanted the only that we wanted to skip only the incompatible rows. In that case, you can choose this option. Okay, now click on next. See, so this is the summary. If you see, this is the layout of your copy data tool. The Microsoft is given the very good tool for the beginners to understand how the data will be moved from the source to destination. In our case, this is the source Azure Blob Storage, and destination is also the Azure Blob Storage. This is the name of the task. Okay, this is the connection, and this is source data source data set name. Okay, and what file we have wanted to move? We have wanted to move employee data CSV file. And yes, first row is our header and the container is input folder. See, and it is going to our, if you see, it is going to our this data set. Okay, and let me click on next and see, it got run. If you see, it's running now. Just wait for a couple of seconds and we'll see the file will be moved or not. So see, well, it is validating. So all these steps, and it is creating data sets and creating pipeline. And if you see, it got uh, succeeded. Okay, the file is also been, if I expand it, you see, so this on the background it created data sets, it created a pipeline, and it created a it ran the pipeline as well. If you wanted to finish, you can finish it off. If you wanted to monitor it, you can click on monitor and you can check what has happened. Okay, and that time when I ran it on this time, okay, this is 26 June. So this time, how much time the pipeline took, how much time this copy data tool has been created. So if you see here, whatever the task name we have given, that is nothing but a pipeline name. Okay, and it is manual trigger and got succeeded. Now we have created the copy data tool. If you go back here, it's nothing but a pipeline. It created a pipeline for us. If I select it, you will see a copy activity has been created, and everything whatever we have chosen from the copy data tool is available here. If you see in your settings. Okay, go back to your home. Now this way that it, now we have to verify whether the file has been moved or not. So go back to your home portal. Okay, open your this one, okay, your storage account. Here we have go to containers. In containers we have two containers, input folder and output folder, and go to output folder to check whether the data, whether the file is been moved or not. Yes, this file is moved. If you see here, the file is moved. And if you open it and see the content is there, yes, this is there. Okay, so this way you can move the file very easily using the copy data tool, using the ADF instance. So this is the UI. Now in the next session we will use the actual we will create an actual pipeline, okay, from here. And we will use the activity which is given to us, like in SSIS. If you work have got an opportunity to work in SSIS, you can correlate. It is nothing but a toolbox which is given in SSIS. Similarly in ADF we will give the list of activities. Using these activities we can use we can drag and drop these activities and make use of it and perform our task whichever is been provided to us. Like suppose if you wanted to copy activities, nothing but copy the data from source to destination. Then we have a data flow. We have so many activities. If we see, if you have need to create notebooks in the Zazu, if you are working in a Python language or Scala and you wanted to Apache Spark you have to use to work with a very big data. And in there you can create and do the transformation in milliseconds. So in that case, if you wanted to create that notebooks and that Apache Spark notebooks you wanted to execute through the pipeline, so this is the activity for that. So if you have iterations, if else conditions, filter for each, all these conditions and all these activities are available. So in next session I will show how to create a copy data tool, which is automatically get created when we use the copy data tool. Okay, so in next session we will use the copy activity, actually how we can create a pipeline using a copy activity. Okay, and today we have learned the copy data tool. Okay, so hope you, thank you, and happy learning. Have a very nice day. Thank you all.